All right, we got a nice big crowd today, so hopefully you can hear us out there and people outside the tent as well. Welcome everybody to our annual Memorial Day service. Remembering those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We want to thank them for that. Remember them as always. I'd like to also introduce, before we get started, we have our Chief of Police, Steve Peters, back here. We have our captains with us, Earl Gifford and Mike Sorrentino. We also have former Mayor Dickie English over there, I see. We have our City Attorney, Marty Arbus. Township Manager, Mike Masillo in the back. We also have with us a former freeholder from Hudson County, World War II veteran, 94 years young, Mr. Sam Kay, right here. Joining me up here at the podium, on my far right, we have Deputy Mayor Robert Chera. Our organizers of all events, Donna Shepard. On my left here, we have Mr. Richard Long, Councilman John Napolitani. So welcome everybody. At this time, we're going to have a salute to the flag. I'm going to call up Mr. Don Bracco from Troop 71. Lead us. Also, I'd like to have a poster of the colors, please, gentlemen, if you want to come out.
I'd like to call Will Clark. Will Clark, please come up. Will?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have a very special treat here. We're going to have our friend Claire Taylor lead us in a Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad shines and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red wave almost bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Beautiful, Claire. Thank you. Stick around. There'll be more of Claire at the end. Wonderful. Okay. At this time, I'd like to call up our friend Deacon Lou from St. Mary's and St. Jerome's Church. He'll lead us in a little prayer here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And it's an honor to be here amongst so many distinguished veterans, and I truly am humbled and I'm honored as a fellow vet, and also as a grandfather and was a grandson serving as a Army pilot. I'm truly honored to be here and lead you in this prayer. So gracious God, Lord of all nations, on this Memorial Day, as we pause to reflect upon our blessings as a nation, grant that we may appreciate and treasure the freedom that is our gift and heritage. We thank you for the freedom we enjoy in this country, for opportunities to flourish, and for the security of our land. We pause also to reflect on the high cost of those blessings and ask that we may never forget the great price at which it was purchased for us. Memorial Day is first and foremost an occasion for Americans to honor those who lost their lives in service to our country. And so on this day, we call to mind those who gave their lives that our nation might live. There is no greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. Lord, we pray also for a special blessing upon those families from which a loved one gave his or her life for the country. Keep them safe and comfort their hearts. And even as we remember those who have given their lives in the past, we remember all who presently serve in the armed forces of our nation. Protect and defend them in battle and in time of peace. Grant that they serve with honor and dignity, both to your great glory and to the credit of this nation. Bring them safely home to their loved ones when their job is done. We also ask that you watch over the veterans of this land, inspiring them to serve you and this country in ever new and creative ways. Comfort any ill and wounded comrades among them, lighten their burdens, relieve any suffering and pain, and restore to them the blessings of health again. All praise to you, God of grace, God of mercy, God of justice, God of peace, and may God continue to bless America.
Thank you, Deacon. Wonderful. At this time, before we bring up the next group here, I just want to mention, everybody please be seated, by the way. Thank you. Keep you standing too long. I want to say that also today I want to remember all the women that had served in this country for many, many years, and it goes back beyond even to this Revolutionary War, where women would follow their men into combat and often serve as cooks and maybe laundress, etc., but couldn't escape the crossfire. And so even back that far, we had lost lives, those who had given all back then. It was World War I when officially women started their service to the country as nurses in the Army. And at that time, during the beginning of World War I, we had about 400 nurses enlist. A year later, 12,000 more needed to enlist. Also, about 200 had lost their lives, mostly caring for those with the great flu pandemic. It really spread its way around and took its toll on the nation. So I want to plant this first flag here in memory of all the women that had served their country honorably and had lost their lives. Okay, thank you for that. At this time, I'm going to bring up Will Clark again from Troop 71. Will, do your wreath? Where is it? Okay, we have wreaths we're going to put up.
On behalf of Troop 71, may Scout come up and place the wreath.
Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the Monmouth County Council Commander, Stanley Shapiro. Mr. Stanley Shapiro.
morning, everybody.
Morning.
Beautiful sunny day, isn't it? We're a usual thing. It's better than we had in the past when it was 90 degrees. Believe me. Welcome, Mayor, Council, the various assorted dignitaries here, the police department, the Boy Scouts, fellow veterans, and neighbors. I just want to give out a quote. A man who is good enough to shed his blood for his country is good enough to be given a square deal afterwards. That was from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of our great one-time presidents. Memorial Day, once known as Decoration Day, is a respectful federal holiday in which we honor and remember the over 100, I want to put it this way, over 100 million people, men and women, died serving our country. 650,000 alone in the Civil War. 750 million in the last major wars. We're talking about World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the present Middle East wars. It is well that we remember these men and women who gave their lives for our nation with parades, Memorial Day events, visit memorials, and whole family events. We can also remember the fallen by seeing that the wounded veterans are properly taken care of. There are men and women who serve their country, this country, who are not receiving the proper mental, physical help they need to return to civilian life. Some of it is caused by the bureaucracy in the VA, how can I put it? The misconduct by many VA officials by not doing their job properly, reporting erroneously information. Also, lack of coordination between the VA and the Department of Defense, and seeing that information is passed along seamlessly to the hospitals and to the VA. Many of our homeless veterans suffer from various issues, addictions to alcohol and drugs. We need outreach programs from both the state and the federal government to make sure that these people are properly taken care of. I said people, I mean veterans. Most of them are homeless. It's up to you, my fellow veterans, and you neighbors, my neighbors, to keep the pressure on our elected officials, not just to remember the dead, but also to remember the living. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stan. We have somebody who placed the wreaths for the Jewish war vets? Okay. And the flags, we have somebody come up from the, yeah, we got some names of this year's.
Go ahead, Lou.
Doc, you come or you have blue? Okay. Yeah.
For those members of Post 125 who passed this past year, Irving Bauman, Harold Cohen, Bernard Barber, Rabbi William Curry. William Saltzman. And last but not least, Robert West.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Joe Williams, Post 714, Catholic War Vets Commander.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I mention anything about the Memorial Day, there's someone in this audience that is a very special person to me, and that's my wife, Terry. Where are you, Terry? Oh, there she is. We just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary on Friday, and I just want to tell her that I love her as much today as I did when we were 19. I have a little thing about Memorial Day history that I don't know how many of you are aware of, but I'd like to read it. It's brief. 3 years after the Civil War ended, on May 5th, 1868, the head of an organization of Union veterans, the Grand Army of the Republic, known as GAR, established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead in flowers. Major Jim A. Logan declared that Decoration Day should be observed on May 30th. It is believed that that date was chosen because the flowers would be in bloom all over the country. The first large observance was held that year at the Arlington National Cemetery across the Potomac River from Washington, D.C. The ceremony centered around the mourning draped veranda of the Arlington Mansion, once the home of Robert E. Lee. Various Washington officials, including General and Mrs. Ulysses S. Grant, presided over the ceremonies. After speeches, children from the Soldiers and Sailors Orphan Home and members of the GAR made their way through the cemetery, strewing flowers on both Union and Confederate graves, reciting prayers and singing hymns. I now ask our honor team to stand at the monument with our wreath. And we lost 3 members this year. Anthony Catapolata, Anthony Falco, and Dr. Daniel Marzano. I would ask that you turn, place the flags, and on my order, give a salute. Salute, arms. Order, arms. Thank you. Please be seated. We also have a member who has not been recognized. He died about 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, and he deserves special recognition too. I see that his son is here, and I'm going to ask him to assist me in putting a flag in the ground. He was very, very important to the Catholic War veterans, a loving husband, a loving father, and a great American. To assist me in placing the flag in his honor, the member whose deceased name was Gavin Siciliano. our mayor's father. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your freedom. Freedom is not free.
A nice surprise, really appreciate that. Okay, at this time, we don't have with us our great orator who usually comes in and graces us with tremendous story, Lou Parisi. So let's just take a moment and just remember Lou's not feeling so well. World War II veteran, he's getting up there in age, but we're going to miss Lou today, and we're thinking of him, so let's keep him in our thoughts for a moment there. Okay, at this time I'd like to bring up Jim Mack, VFW Post 2226. Jim, come on up, please.
Chris and council and everybody, all the dignitaries, everybody that's here, I'd like to thank you. Settle it to me this year. We got a special guest that wants to speak. He's been the past post commander, past district commander, past state commander, and he's also been on the National Council. His name is Manny Alameda. You want to step forward, please?
Thank you, James. Mayor Siciano, council members who I've been doing staying up all this time, fellow comrades in arms, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you greetings from our National Commander-in-Chief, Keith Harmon, our State Commander, Carrie Pritchard, and as you just met, our Post Commander in Ocas 226, James Mack. Memorial Day 2018. Every freedom we cherish was paid in blood. Memorial Day is a hallowed day for the VFW of the United States. This is a day to pay tribute to our heroic patriots who bravely rose up and fought for something greater than themselves, selflessly laying down their life for freedom. As we gather and observe this Memorial Day, we carry on a tradition dating back to 1866, embracing the feeling of patriotism and pride while honoring the best and most noble of us all. Freedom isn't free. It has been paid for with the lives of sons, daughters, husbands and wives, sisters, brothers and friends. Their debt is one that can never truly be repaid. But we can't start by ensuring the youth of tomorrow understand the true cost of this freedom that we cherish. This Memorial Day, the Veterans of Foreign War encourages Americans to pause and reflect on the lives and service of those who made the ultimate sacrifice and the families they left behind. There is no better way to honor those who gave all than to remember them and draw upon them their selflessness to strengthen our spirit as a great nation. Thank you. God love you. I know God loves the United States of America, and I love you too.
Another elegant speaker. Right now I'd like to post our wreath. Peter Murphy, would you be so kind to do so?
Say again?
post the wreath. He's old. Give him a break, man. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Now at this time, I'd like to put flags down for our deceased, the post. We have quite a few of them this year, so bear with me, please. Daniel Anderson. M. Buccini. Raymond Cass. George Daly. Ralph DeFalva. Gregory Falconetti. Henry Berry. Jane Frago. Henry Gronowski, Irish guy. Constantino Poulos. Thomas Mills. Elmer Potter. Gene Steele. Linton Tucker. Vince James. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. National Remembrance. We have a national moment of remembrance. It was passed December 2000, which asked that at 3 p.m. local time for all Americans who voluntarily and informally observed in their own way a moment of remembrance and respect. Passing from whatever they were doing for a moment, pausing for a moment what they were doing for a moment of silence, of listening to text. And also not only for the veterans Let's not forget about the policemen, firemen, that also put their life out there. Okay, that concludes my subject. Thank you. This might be my last year up here. I have a little special of something I want to do. I want to give Ramsey a motion, those my gratitude for helping me. Have all the council and the mayor here, please. All here. Said Mayor Christopher Cristiano, members of the council of Ocean Township. Mayor Cristiano and members of the council of Ocean Township, it's a sincere thank you for the help you have given to VFW 2226 and veterans over the years. Commander Jim Mack and members of VFW 2226.
We thank you so much for that, for your appreciation for what we've done. It's just a normal thing what you guys done for us. We can't thank you enough, but we really thank you for this. Will be displayed in our council chambers. We'll remember you guys. Thank you so much. Cheers to the VFW 2226. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call back Miss Claire Taylor for one more song for us.
I will be performing America the Beautiful, written by Catherine Lee Bates and composed by Samuel A. Ward. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, all of thy fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful, for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and more than life. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law.
Outstanding. Thank you, Claire. Okay, at this time, we've got our police honor guard with Lieutenant Ed Segarra, Detective Carter, Patrolman Guido, and Patrolman Donahue. Chris Wilson, please. Paps. Thank you, Chris. He's a little parched, so he needs a glass of water before he started. Thank him. So I just want to thank everybody again for coming here today. Again, too many flags were planted there. We remember those that served, given their lives for us and for this country, and we thank them again for that. So at this time also I want to remind you that Jim Mack and the VFW, as always, invite us back for a nice little lunch and maybe a cold beverage or two, right, Jim? Back to the VFW. Lunch is on them, cold beverage as well. You know, that's on you. At any rate. So that concludes our service. We're going to raise the flag. Again, thank you all for coming. I want to thank the VFW, the Catholic war vets, the Jewish war vets, and all our dignitaries for joining us today. Thank you again. Go in peace, everybody. Thank you very much.